QB risers, baby. Where are you drafting a quarterback in 2024? This is a debate we have nearly every day on this channel on some level. And the answer is always going to be, there's 100,000 ways to draft. There is no correct, cemented in way to draft a quarterback. And I get sick and tired of hearing people say you have to wait, you shouldn't wait, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to do what's good for you and what the strengths of your draft skill set require of you. Doesn't mean you can't work and better yourself and improve your weaknesses and learn how to draft a quarterback early. But it doesn't mean you can't win a league with the three monsters on screen right now. And I say that I'm not just exaggerating. These are potentially monsters in 2024. And you can get all three of them late because by default, so many quarterbacks are going to go by a certain point in your draft. That's the nature of the pressure that's out there in the fantasy landscape and content creation world where you're told, you can't draft a quarterback early. You can't draft a quarterback early. And part of why I'm here tonight is piggybacking off of that fear and how it's making the later quarterbacks even a value. So there's value up and down the entire draft board. The bottom line is this. You should be drafting the best player available every time you're on the clock, not the ADP rank. Does this guy mean to draft a guy that's ranked the highest on the suggested rank? No, I'm not telling you to be a robot, Roger. I'm telling you to be a drafter that is astute, that is looking at this thing from a, how can I dominate this specific draft slot that I'm on the clock for? How do I get the most ceiling value with the highest floor, the best risk to reward ratio, a home run hitter at every single draft slot? You're on the clock at 3.2. How can I hit a home run from 3.2? You're on the clock at 5.7. How can I hit a home run from 5.7? That is best player available. And it sounds so obvious, but it's not easy to deploy because you get caught up in wasting away strategy that other people tell you to deploy no matter what, because best player available will lead you down all roads of success. And these gentlemen right here are a part of that. As we get deep into a draft, the Fantasy Football Show, breaking news show, we got coaching movement, we got Dan Quinn in Washington, we got Kingsbury OC in Las Vegas. We're breaking it all down. The Fantasy Football Show begins now. File on in, hit that like button, subscribe on your way in the door.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
A lot to discuss today, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get into these three quarterbacks. We'll get into quarterbacks in a second, but let's dive into some of the news, which triggers one of the quarterbacks to talk about here, and why I might have even ventured onto this topic. You guys would be shocked what my day looks like. I'm blessed, number one. Okay, the show, we're doing very well. Okay, we're growing very well. There's a lot to do. The Dynasty channel is looking fantastic. The Rumble channel is in its infancy. If you want to be a part of something amazing and great from the ground up, get on over to Rumble. We're approaching like 400 subscribers or followers over on Rumble, and we're gonna grow this thing to a 10,000 follower channel by the end of the year. I'm almost 100%. And if you want to be a part of that revolution, get on over there to Rumble and please follow. Links in the description of the video. It's rumble.com/the Fantasy Football Show. The Dynasty channel, we did a Dynasty mock draft. Make sure you're following me there and subscribed as well. But part of what I was trying to say is you guys don't understand how I cook up content. I literally don't know what I'm going to talk about sometimes until about 7:45 p.m. Eastern, and we go live at 8 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes I'm late because of that, but that's the nature of me and the way I operate, and I'll never change for nobody. I'll never change for nobody! I don't plan things out because guess what? You know, you do that, you start scripting your show around a breaking news world. I can't do that. So sometimes I get triggered into an episode that I'm going to talk about 10, 15 minutes before we go live. And sometimes I have something I want to talk about, but this right here, you know, triggered this idea and conversation around quarterbacks and who is around where Jordan Love is. What other quarterbacks can we talk about while we talk about Jordan Love? This initiates Jordan Love conversation. Now we're here to talk about quarterbacks around Jordan Love. Love, Packers GM, said that he plans to sign Jordan Love to a long-term extension this offseason. Jordan Love to the moon. This was a show favorite. This is a guy that people doubted. Hardcore. Even though we knew he would come around, even though he started off as a top 5 quarterback through the first month of football, all the complaining Calebs came out of the woodwork and said, he's garbage. I remember a live stream or two where a couple Fragile Freddies and a overreacting Oscar or two came into our live stream and started dropping mad shade over and over and over. Jordan Love, Smitty, that didn't work out too well. How you feeling about your prediction on Jordan Love? Well, Oscar, he did do well, amazingly well in the first month of football. Was a top 5 fantasy football quarterback, Oscar, without Christian Watson really doing jack crap before that point, and then we soon found out the remainder of the season. And this man lost Aaron Jones early on, and now Jordan Love is still doing it. He's still trying to get by. And yeah, he hit a little rocky road, if you will, Oscar, and you jumped off the train, Oscar, but we still kept conducting said train. We had a small caboose full of people fall off and jump off this train mid-season like it was the plague. And now he's back to being everybody's golden boy. That's okay. You know, there are certain cards we'll take away. If you doubt a player, we'll take away your Bijan card.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
Even if you doubt Jordan Love, we'll take away your Bijan card.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
If you doubted Jordan Love at all, I'm taking away officially your Bijan card. I don't care what you say.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
But this was something they should have taken care of last offseason. Now, granted, they wanted to test the waters. Granted, they said, let's see what this boy can do. Granted, they didn't want to break the bank like Danny Dimes, New York Giants. They're in guaranteed contract hell with Danny Dimes' contract for this coming season. I think it's like $69 million dead cap or something like that. Danny Dimes' contract is awful. They didn't want to do that, but we knew this guy wasn't Danny Dimes. I don't know what the Green Bay Packers were thinking, but who are we to judge a organization that has had 2 quarterbacks before this point, before the Jordan Love experiment? 2 quarterbacks since, 1993? Ziggy, when was Brett Favre's first year in the NFL? I think it was 93.
Brett Favre played his first season in 1991.
1991. Whoa! Oh no, yeah. Well, I don't. Ziggy off. His first, I think it was 90. I thought it was 90, 93. Whatever. 91, 92, 93 in that territory when he first started. I think we can give a little bit of leeway to a team that is now on track to have 3 quarterbacks since 1993 in a statement I think we could say for another 8 years or so. That's going to make that even as remarkable of a statement. 3 quarterbacks since 1993, and it's 2030 when we're saying that. So hats off to the Green Bay Packers for being real ones, for recognizing quarterback talent like no other. This is phenomenal. Jordan Love is top 5 to 10 quarterback bound. I mean, we should really call it 5 to 7, 5 to 8 quarterback bound. But I do want to make it abundantly clear that there are a load of quarterbacks that are very, very talented, very, very capable of even beating out Jordan Love for that 6-7 spot. Like, you look at Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, ADP rankings, I might add, which we have access to now. So this is good to have a little ADP data to work with. And I feel like we got enough drafts to really kind of, I think, hammer home on some redraft ADP. Dynasty ADP, there's no consistent Dynasty ADP out there. I don't care who tells me, oh, but check this out. It's not, I don't care. There's not good Dynasty ADP because there's not enough solid drafts and people knowing what they're doing. Smitty, code Smitty, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. Here's the link. We draft all the time. We'll probably draft later tonight. So please hit that code. Hit that link. If you're watching a replay, there's the link in the description. If you're watching the live stream, I just put it in the live chat, and I'll pin it here in a second in the live chat. So give me about 1 minute, and it'll be pinned. And sign up ahead of time. Don't be wasting time when we go live to do a draft. And here you are trying to get into the draft, and you got to sign up when it takes literally like 5 minutes. Just go ahead and do it. Take care of it. Do it now. Let me pin that link in the live chat right this very second. Link has been pinned. There you go. Oh, I pinned love over Purdy, Travis's comment. Whoops. That's going to piss some people off. Replaced pin. Thank you, Travis. Thanks for starting a tidal wave. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, Jordan Love. Extension incoming. Now, he could be number 5, he could be number 6, he could be number 7, he could be number 8, he could be number 9, he could be number 10. That is no disrespect to where he finishes. If he's QB 9, it's not a disappointing year necessarily because this could be between 20 points. QB 7 and QB 10 could be within 20, 25 points. And really what we're looking at here is that Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. I don't think Lamar's my third. It's going to be Mahomes is my third. It's going to be, or even second. Mahomes, Hurts as a tough call between 2 and 3. Lamar's up there, Stroud's up there, Anthony Richardson for me's up there. I'm surprised to see him climbing, but he's still a steal, a screaming steal, which is why we're here. Look at his ADP, 62.4. Anthony Richardson I'm talking about right now. That's win a league material. Jordan Love at 86.8 is win-a-league material. Herbert at 78 is pretty damn good too. Joe Burrow is win-a-league material, 78.5. When I tell you that Joe Burrow could be a top 3 quarterback, I'm not just blowing smoke up your rear end. I truly believe Joe Burrow could be a top 3 quarterback. When I say Anthony Richardson could be a top 3 quarterback in fantasy football, I'm not blowing smoke up your rear end. I think he could be a top 3 fantasy football quarterback. When I say Jordan Love, who's ranking a lot lower than both of those guys, right? Joe Burrow coming in at 78.5, Love at 86. There's a little bit of a difference in the ceiling value. He's not going to be top 3, but he could be top 5 to 7. And you're getting him in a protected territory here at QB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. QB 11. He could go out there and shart his pants in game 1, and they got to take him out, send him to the locker room for about half the game, do the dry cleaning, bring him back. He plays only a half a quarter, and he still earns your value in 2024. The man could get abducted by aliens for 2 games, maybe 3, and still earn QB 11 value. It's actually unreal. There's no risk at all drafting Jordan Love as QB 11. 0 risk, and we've got a interruption, emergency $20 boss horn hauler from Perps. I'm getting the boss horn out. I'm hitting the button.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert.
We're getting more aggressive with this boss horn. At first it's like, boop. Now we hold it down like it's breathing air. Perp says, what's up, everyone? Please take a quick second to hit that thumb up button. Let's remember to hit it on the way in versus the way out. I like the way Perps thinks. And we have 60 watching and only 19 thumbs up. We have 75 watching now as we're going. People are finding out we're live. And we only have 30 thumbs up. So Perps is right. If we get to 70 thumbs up within 30 seconds to a minute, if we can get everybody in here to hit the thumb up button. Actually, I'll make it easier. 60 thumbs up. Double the thumbs up. I'll fire off the boss horn again real quick. So we have 30. We just need 30 more of you 74 watching to hit it. We'll fire off the boss horn. Appreciate you dropping the super chat. Perps to the freaking moon. I'm looking at Jordan Love here, and I'm thinking baked in, no risk at all whatsoever. Completely baked in, no risk whatsoever. And I will say that Anthony Richardson quietly feels like the steal of the QB world, though. It doesn't mean I don't love. Where's my? Let me get something so I can circle these guys when I'm talking about them. Makes it easier on the replay value and all that. Doesn't mean that I don't feel like this guy is better than this guy ADP wise. I do. We're here to talk about Jordan Love. Jordan Love's in the news. It doesn't mean that I have to by default be the guy I take no matter what in my next draft, and he's the guy I love more. I don't love him more. I love him. I love Love at number 11 for quarterback rankings. I just love AR5 a little more. I love AR5 and Burrow about equal. Given their discrepancy in ADP, Joe Burrow at 75.8 and QB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So AR6, 7, 8. Joe Burrow's 9. So 6, 9. I love AR5 at QB 6. I love Joe Burrow at QB 9. The difference between the two ADP-wise makes them pretty damn even. If they were both, let's say AR5 was also in round 9, he would be probably my favorite player in 2024. He'd probably be, this is a Saturn man.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one
Saturn!
giant leap for Saturn.
This is a Saturn man. It's a Saturn man. So, of course, if the Saturn man was lingering in the ninth round range, he would be my favorite player of 2024 to draft, period. But even at QB 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he's a win-a-league player. Anthony Richardson at 62 overall is a win-a-league player. Jordan Love maybe isn't win-a-league necessarily, but he's going to make it damn sure you have the best opportunity to collect win-a-league players because you're waiting on a quarterback. That's the nature of that. But drafting Josh Allen in round 2 or Hurts, who's going to be such a doubted guy. We're going to have a video on Hurts. You're going to say, Smitty, I thought you liked Jordan Love. Hey, Smitty, I thought you liked AR5. I had one guy on my Dynasty channel complaining, and no offense if you're watching, pal, complaining I did a Joe Burrow video. Literally in the comments complaining, saying, why are you talking about Joe Burrow? Why aren't we talking about some other quarterback? Why do you have a video about Joe Burrow? We're going to have videos about everybody. Like, why would you not want me to talk about Joe Burrow? Not to mention, you're not the only person on the planet, bro. You know, some people want to hear about Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow, and I'm one of them. I'm one of them. You're one of them. We're all one of them. 42 thumbs up. I'll fire that boss horn off for a good 5 seconds straight. If you just get that 42 thumbs up to 60. That's all I'm asking. Anyway, so Jordan Love, the difference between AR5 at round or quarterback 6, which is like round 6 at times 6, 7, 5. It just depends. The win-a-league value there is equivalent to what Jordan Love gives you the ability to do in the middle round. So it's win-a-league. It's just not, it's 1 degree of separation because Love's not the winner. Love sets you up to get the winners. AR5 is the winner. And if you take Jalen Hurts in round 3, because everybody and their mother's doubting Jalen Hurts right now, he wins the league in round 3. There's nothing wrong with Jalen Hurts in round 3. Jalen Hurts in round 3 or Joe Burrow in 6, 7, 8, they both are win-a-league potential. They offer you different things, and if you know Jaden Reed's the next elite breakout wide receiver, and he's slipping into round 6, 7, and I've seen him go at end of 5, I've seen him go at the very tail end of round 6, so it's all over the map, but you get my point. If you identify the next breakout wide receiver, keep in mind, if you're going late QB, you're missing one more of those opportunities. Jaden Reed, you're going to have to pass on to grab your quarterback because you waited on a quarterback. There's pros and cons to waiting on a quarterback. There's pros and cons to taking one early. But you can win a league with Jalen Hurts in round 3. You can win a league with Anthony Richardson in round 6. You can win a league with Joe Burrow in 7-8. You can win a league with Jordan Love in a deeper territory than that because you're going to snag all these other pieces that you wouldn't have been able to if you went quarterback early. It's not rocket science, but it is astrology
To Saturn.
to a degree. It's also a little bit of biology. Okay, one of the best. Wait, we got another $20 super chat. This one's from Perps. He says, "Better yet, Smitty, I'll raise your boss horn, and if we get 75 thumbs up by 8:45 Eastern, which is right now, I will give some memberships and bring some new people to the family." I don't know if you were meaning 9:45 or whatever, but if he means that right now, I'm sure Perps will still be good for it if you guys just file it in real quickly. So 80 people watching. He wants 75 thumbs up before he'll even contemplate doing gifted memberships. So Perps wants it. Do it live. We got a couple more super chats here. When can we expect rookie rankings to be up on the Fantasy Football Show this weekend? They'll definitely be up by the end of the weekend, by Sunday. On the channel, we'll be doing videos constantly, probably from the weekend on. So there'll be a bunch of rookie content, and you'll see probably the running back rankings video drop. Maybe the wide receivers first, then the running backs will drop. We already did the quarterbacks, but we might refresh on the quarterbacks, and then I'll do the tight end video. Okay, so expect everything to start really kicking into high gear, trickling from the weekend through the week. Okay, appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. You are the man. Hedge says, Dynasty format, traded Ayuk and my second rounder 11 pick for Drake London. I don't like that trade. I love that trade.
You've just been Smitty approved.
This isn't to say I don't love Brandon Ayuk. I'm not sitting here saying I don't love Brandon Ayuk. This is from yesterday, okay? Don't mind Trey McBride. Trey McBride wants to be on screen. Trey McBride gets to be on screen. Trey McBride gets what he wants. This man right here, this guy is a monster in the making. And on Underdog Fantasy, he's going at 80 overall. That is right where Joe Burrow's going roughly, in that 6-7 round territory. Doesn't make any sense. It's win a league. It doesn't make any sense. It's win a league. Take advantage of it while you can. I think Joe Burrow might be held back to climbing up ADP ranks. So 80 overall, Joe Burrow seems kind of cemented in there because by default, there's just so many quarterbacks. Nobody's moving him, down below him. Trey McBride, on the other hand, will be a quick riser. He will rise fast up the ADP ranks. He will soon be in the 50s. Mark my words. 60s at the latest, but 50s. You won't be able to get him in round 6 or 7. You'll probably have to pay for him in round 5. A lot of people will start jumping out of the Trey McBride I'll draft him bucket because they'll just be like, I'd rather wait for an Njoku. I'd rather wait for somebody else. Kelsey could fall because nobody wants him. And there's different value territories everywhere for the tight end position. So it's understandable that some people will fall off the trend of grabbing this kid as he climbs up the ADP ranks, but right now not a single one of you has a good excuse whatsoever to not be drafting this guy in droves because he's going freaking 80 overall. That is one of the biggest steals in fantasy football. Doing it live. Appreciate you, Blonde Hedge. Hey, look, not everybody's going to agree with my Ayuk. I like London and the second round rookie pick. I could care less about the 2.11, to be honest with you. Like, do I want you to give them away? No. But 2.11. Guys, we need 20 more thumbs up for Perps to start throwing out gifted memberships if he's even going to still do it if you guys don't do it faster. We got 80 of you in here, and you guys are refusing to hit the thumb up button. Perps needs you. I need you. The channel needs you. I don't hate anybody's take that likes Ayuk more than Drake London. I just don't. I know everyone's going to remember what they've seen recently. Ayuk just made some great catches. He also caught a football that bounced off someone's head, which you can't, it was a great catch. What page should we go on? So on Underdog Fantasy in the top left corner, if you click on, when you pull it up, you'll see like a 3-bar line, and you can look at the rankings there. That should show you the ADP rankings. But we'll pull them up. I'll do a weekly-ish ADP show here on the channel. So get ready for that. Okay, so let's get some of this news. Jordan Love against steal. Absolute steal. We'll get to the other quarterbacks in a second and talk about them. We've got some news here. Dan Quinn is the head coach of the Washington Commanders. You know, this is getting a lot of mixed reviews, especially on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter X. You have a lot of people just shredding the Commanders to pieces. And you have a lot of Commander fans pissed off as can be. But that's X. You go on X, a.k.a. Twitter, you're going to get a lot of negativity no matter what. If they brought in Bill Belichick, you'd have half the comments saying this is garbage. And also, you know, your most negative people are a lot of the time your most loud people. So it always feels like things are more negative all the time on Twitter. Because all the quiet, a lot of people are quiet. They get drowned out by people that want to be angry and pissed off. I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, I'm a little more open-minded to this signing, and all the signings are complete now. All the coaching carousel tracker is complete. I don't hate this signing, or I don't hate this head coaching move as much as other people. There's a few reasons why. I love Adam Peters. I believe in Adam Peters. I also know Dan Quinn brings a lot of good stuff to the table, and I know a lot of people want to act like Underdog Fantasy, Smitty. Yeah, use code Smitty, Underdog Fantasy. If you're trying to get into Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty will get you double your first deposit up to $100. So the link is pinned in the live chat. The link will insert code Smitty for you. The link's also in the description of the video. Dan Quinn, look, I mean, are people really going to sit here and say that the Cowboy defense wasn't absolutely marvelous on a lot of levels? Like, I don't understand. I don't really get why there's so much hate for Dan Quinn. The Dallas Cowboy D was violent. It was opportunistic. It was an absolute freaking fantasy football conglomerate. Like, I don't understand why everybody is so hell-bent against Dan Quinn, and they feel like, you know, that there isn't, like, every defense had holes. I mean, even the beloved, everybody's beloved Niners right now, their defense gives up a lot. Like, I get it. I mean, a lot of people don't like Wilkes really right now either, but this is a team that was playing very well, and they could take the freaking football away. So let me pull up the defensive leaders from 2023 and pull up the Cowboys. Cowboys were number one. Number one in any format I pull up. They're number one by about 5 to 10 points. I know that this move isn't a fantasy move. It's a head coach move in the NFL. But we also have to remember, this guy's not going to be calling plays. You know, and he's going to be an organizer of the men below him. This will be similar to how we look at Raheem Morris in Atlanta. It's all about the OC. Now, they're in an OC hunt. It's kind of a weird situation. You got Eric Bieniemy, who interviewed for, maybe by just default, interviewed for the head coaching job, is currently the assistant head coach / offensive coordinator, and they're on an offensive coordinator hunt. So they're kind of not only passing over Bieniemy for head coach, or they're not kind of, they did pass over Bieniemy as head coach, and now they're looking for an OC. So he's under contract, Bieniemy's there, but like, you know, that the disrespect there, sure, like you could look at it that way. You could also look at, it's good that it's not just going to be Bieniemy that's there doing things on the offensive side of the football and being the assistant coach, head coach, or whatever. You're going to bring in some other mind. People are saying Chip Kelly. There's a lot of other, a lot of negativity and some positivity to that. There's a lot of people that are going to say a lot of things. The bottom line is, I believe in Peters. I believe in the talent that is certainly present in Washington. They have a lot of it. There's a ton of holes in Washington. No doubt about it, but they have this number 2 overall pick to get JD5 or Drake May. JD5 or Drake May will be a Washington Commander. I believe in Peters. I believe Peters will set this thing up properly. And even if it didn't work out 100% in year one, I still believe in it from a long-term perspective. So everybody needs to chill a little bit on thinking this is like done. This is dead in the water now that Dan Quinn. I don't agree with that. I don't necessarily know how I feel about it. I don't feel like, oh, this is the best move ever. I feel like they put all their eggs in the Ben Johnson basket, as you've heard a lot of people emphasize, and that fell through. So they went to their second choice. Dan Quinn was their second choice. Dan Quinn was not their first choice. They wanted Ben Johnson. But you did hear that Ben Johnson wasn't a lock a couple days before we heard Ben Johnson was out. But did that come from Ben Johnson's camp? That might have had nothing to do with the Washington Commanders saying it's not a lock. It's not a slam dunk. We heard that because he wanted to maybe return. This news right here is also another one that I feel is a little bit, I don't know, getting blasted when it doesn't feel like it's deserving of being blasted as much as everybody's blasting it. There are a lot of head coaches that should be offensive coordinators. And some might say Arthur Smith falls in this bucket. I'm willing to let somebody else play with that fire. I'm not going near Arthur Smith. I don't care how good Arthur Smith was in Tennessee at times. I don't care how good Arthur Smith was before the year prior to Bijan this past season with Algier, and they ran the ball so well on the ground. I could care less. Arthur Smith could go kick rocks. I'll let somebody else toy around with that, and if I'm wrong, so be it. I'm drafting somebody else I love. Plenty happy with my decision. We need about 13 more thumbs up, and I think maybe Perps might drop something, but that's up to him. This right here, look, was Kingsbury the best head coach? No. Does Kingsbury have a pretty solid, arsenal attack? I believe so. I think you put Kingsbury, who is now, I'm sorry, I didn't read the news. I just assumed you knew it. Raiders have locked in Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator. No deal yet, but is expected to get done following a year at USC. The former Arizona Cardinals head coach returns to the NFL as a part of Antonio Pierce's coaching staff. I don't mind this. Everybody laughing at this, and I'm not saying it's a lock either. Again, Washington, it's to be decided for me. I'm not like saying Dan Quinn's going to work, but I don't think it deserves this slam the door on it when it's going to be a package deal between OC, Dan Quinn, Bieniemy. Like, there's a lot of moving parts there, and to just start throwing around Dan Quinn's the reason the offense is going to struggle is ridiculous to me when you got Adam Peters and all these other moving parts and then an OC that you're bringing in. It's all going to center around the OC. It's not going to center around Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, I believe, will get the defense on track and making opportunistic plays. Kingsbury, you might say he's not probably the best head coach. Probably not the best head coach, but I like the way this guy moves the football down the field. And while some people will say he'll fall apart, and I'm not saying he won't, I'm not saying I'm putting, money on that this will work out either. I'm just saying I kind of like this fit. I kind of like getting in a guy that wants to throw the ball down the field, a team that is going to be aggressive in getting their new quarterback. They've got the number 13 overall pick. There's a lot of rumors that they want to either trade up for the 1. Minnesota wants to trade up for the 1. All these teams want to trade up for the 1, right? If Caleb is getting taken, that's not happening. But that means Fields is available. And Adam Peters in Washington, I don't think will necessarily go after it. I think he's a good enough mind to identify Fields, but that's not set up well. But some of these other teams like Atlanta and Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson, they could be intrigued by saying, let's give up this 8 pick. Maybe we get a compensation pick or a conditional pick, later on, that if everything works, another pick gets sent back to even the scales, whatever. But we'll give this 8 pick for Fields. We'll give this 11 pick for Fields if we're the Vikings. We'll give this 12 pick for Fields if we're the Denver Broncos. Again, other picks can be evolved to balance scales and make things appropriate. But Las Vegas falls in that category too. New Orleans, I don't know if they're smart enough to do it, to be honest, from an organizational perspective. I feel like they're just going to, there's word today they could restructure Carr and just continue to go down that road. Seattle could get aggressive. We don't know without Pete Carroll. Maybe it is something the Seattle Seahawks could look to do, go get Fields. But Fields is on the table, and if you give Fields to Kingsbury with the command and control of a head coach in Antonio Pierce, I don't hate it as much as other people. I just don't think, I don't understand some of the negativity around some of these coaches that are coming in as OCs. Like, they don't have to head coach. Does anybody understand that? And again, somebody could say, touche, Smitty, I'm throwing that right back at you with Arthur Smith. And I'm willing to take away your ammunition right now and say, I get it. You go down that road. Arthur Smith, I'm just not trusting him. It's the same thing, but I don't agree that that's going to work out. But Kingsbury, Dan Quinn, successful, I think, coordinators. I think these could be, not for sure, could be successful coordinators. And I think people are overreacting because they're feeding off the negativity that's always going to be there. It doesn't matter who this is. Whoever they picked, Twitter, X, all the comments, it'll be overwhelmingly negative. Kingsbury with Pierce is potentially a good freaking move. Not to mention, I don't think anybody even really is accounting for this, but the Raiders hired ex-Bengals coach Marvin Lewis, who comes with a lot of experience to the table, who's been there already kind of helping groom Pierce, keeping him on track. They said, let's keep you over here helping out. Raiders hired ex-Bengals coach Marvin Lewis as assistant head coach. Does anybody understand? I saw Silver. Silver understands. I know he's a Raider fan, so he's a little bit biased, but I don't think he's wrong here. Just because he's biased doesn't mean he's wrong. We hired 2 head coaches as assistant and OC. That's money. Silver's 100,000% correct. You got Antonio Pierce, who's a leader of men. The locker room loves him. The players want to play for him. The organization loves him. TV talking heads love him. So there won't be a lot of negativity, at least at the beginning. There'll be a lot of positivity. People love him. He's getting a lot of love and support. You have a leader of men at the top, just like in these other defensive scenarios people are making fun of with Raheem Morris. Leader at the top. DeMeco Ryans, leader at the top. Slowick below him in Houston. It's gold. It's absolute glory. DeMeco Ryans' defensive mind at the top. Oh, it's going to be bad. How's he going to coach the team? He's not the offensive coordinator. Slowick and DeMeco Ryans is gold. Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson together is gold. Dan Quinn and whoever they bring in, and I'm not sold on who they're bringing yet because they haven't announced it yet, so we'll be back to talk about it. Maybe I won't like the pick. It could be gold. McDonald in Seattle. Everyone's going to rip on that. That could be good too. This is a time where it looks like you can build something properly if the right OC's in place and you lean on them. If you're a defensive mind, you come in and you're a control freak, probably won't work out. But in this case of Antonio Pierce rising up, having Marvin Lewis there to help scold and mold him, sculpt, maybe scold. I don't think anybody can scold Antonio Pierce, though. He scolds you. Marvin Lewis there to sculpt and mold him and shape him and advise him, as well as advise, mold, and sculpt Kingsbury into his offensive coordinator, not head coaching roles. This is pretty good. Why are people complaining about Antonio Pierce, Marvin Lewis, and Kingsbury as a 3-headed monster coaching staff? I don't understand why this is so negative. I don't really get it. Not to mention, the moment all these complaining Calebs and people ripping on this Raiders situation, the moment the Raiders if they make a big move at QB, everybody's going to shut their mouth. If they end up with Justin Fields, what's everyone going to say? Where are all the negative Noah's going to be if this Antonio Pierce, Marvin Lewis, Kingsbury, triple-headed monster mind at the top level, like this is like 3 head coaches I mean, I know that we don't know. Look, I actually liked parts of Kingsbury as a head coach. At the end of the day, he had to go from Arizona, but I actually liked some of what he did. I actually felt like he got in over his head at times. He didn't have quite everything in motion. If things hadn't gone a certain way at mid-season, that 1 year where things were actually clicking, they were just absolutely clicking. Then he had some struggles with injury, and the team just started to kind of fall apart. But if you remember, they had one of the best teams in football. You know, like I think people don't give Kingsbury enough credit. Marvin Lewis, as an OC, you're only needing him as an OC now. Marvin Lewis, this is good. I like it. I'm excited about it. People can say what they want. It's crazy. Okay, Marvin Lewis, I got that. We got, I don't know if Travis Rose here, but Alex Van Pelt hired as ex-Browns, or Patriots have hired ex-Browns offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt as offensive coordinator. I don't know how I feel about this one yet. I believe it's got some potential. There's also some risk, just like with Dan Quinn. It's no different, really. Here is your lineup here for the New England Patriots. You have Van Pelt now as OC. Whoops. Covington as your defensive coordinator, and Springer as your special teams coordinator. This is your new New England Patriot coordinating staff right there to go with Mayo. So I don't know. I'm a little bit like, I'll be honest, and I don't know if Travis is in. Travis is in here. I don't know that I'm as excited about this trio with Mayo. I feel like there's a little bit of potential of disappointment just because I don't know how they're gonna. But here's the thing. You give yourself this number 3 overall pick. Like, if JD5 goes to New England, I'm starting to feel a little bit more excited because now these guys got weapon to play with. It could be underrated. Did anybody love, was Slowick on a lot of radars? Was Ben Johnson on a lot of radars? So it's a little unfair to even judge this trio of coordinating staff members to go along with an unknown, but a guy the team seems to love, and Mayo, and a lot of people don't know a whole lot about. So again, you can't really say much. Am I excited up front as I am about the Raiders? Trio of head coaches heading up the Las Vegas Raiders in 2024. No, but I'm not down on this. I just don't know what to think yet. Just honesty. I don't know what to think. Kingsbury. I like Kingsbury. I love Marvin Lewis together mixed with Antonio Pierce, who I felt like we didn't really know what he's going to do. And we like him, but are we confident in him? As a solo decision maker, now he's got 2 great minds to help him, and they're all going to help, I think, safeguard each other. Bill Belichick reportedly interviewed with the Commanders, and there were a few people, decision makers, that wanted him, but not enough of them that wanted to move forward with Bill Belichick. Do I think the Commanders should have went with Bill? I don't know. I kind of feel like it would have been the right place and fit for him, but he's going to sit out a year. Maybe, as some say, Sirianni fails this year if he does. And I don't know that he will, because I actually really like the Fangio and Kellen Moore coordinator package that they got there. I think that will help serve Sirianni well. But if Sirianni did fail, there's a lot of people talking about Bill going to Philly next year. But that's all speculative. None of that's a lock. That's pretty much all the news right here. We got 74 thumbs up, 91 of you in here. Perps wanted 75 thumbs up in order to do any sort of gifted membership, but Perps is not obligated to do that because it took people, I think, longer, unless Perps was wanting it by a certain time frame. He might have been talking his local time, I don't know. But Eastern time, West Coast time, Perps, I don't know what Perps was requesting. Appreciate you all being here. Imagine hiring Dan Quinn over Belichick. I think that's the only gripe I would have. I don't hate the Dan Quinn signing, as I just alluded to, but I think if it was up to me, I would rather have Bill. But it would come with conditions, though. Bill couldn't have, like, GM control. Obviously, he wouldn't. I think probably the reason why Bill was not brought in is, do you think Adam Peters wanted somebody in there that was going to try and control and tell him what to do? I think Adam Peters wanted somebody in place. Like, when you think about it from Adam Peters' perspective, he's bringing in a guy that's not going to know more about him than the offense in terms of the head coach. You could say that's a dumb move or a misstep, but it depends what they do at OC. Bieniemy's still there. They could bring in Kelly. They could bring in somebody. So Bieniemy and that person together, and Dan Quinn as just the head coach, leader of the men. I don't know that I hate it at all. I don't know that I love it, but I definitely don't hate it. I think it's just TBA. But Belichick with Peters, I don't know that would have worked. That's probably one of the people that didn't want it to happen. Peters was probably the one saying, no, I'm not bringing in Bill because Bill's going to want to do my job and I want to do it my way. I think that would have been a clash of minds, great minds thinking they know what's right for the team. Probably why it didn't happen. I almost guarantee you it was Adam Peters that probably didn't want Bill. Yeah, Bill Belichick, he may be a goat to a lot of people, but there's a lot to prove for Bill. Bill would need to come with conditions. You don't get to control who the personnel is in terms of, we're drafting. You're not drafting. We're bringing in. The guy drafts from his mom's oakwood table with a tiny little laptop. McVay drafts with he has a draft room in his house. It's like a man cave with 70 TVs and 8 people in there. Bill is doing it with oatmeal cookies on a circular old wood table with spoked chairs, with a glass atrium door behind him, with knitted fabric pot holders hanging behind him. That's been a cat that occasionally climbs on the table and walks by, with a fax machine in the background. That's Bill Belichick's draft room. I like Bill. I like Bill, but I'm not sure what to make of him yet. Let's do some phone calls. Appreciate you all being here.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
As we were talking with these guys, winning league players, I kind of already touched on all of it, but I'm going to leave them up. I'd love to have some discussion around these guys. These are league winners. League winner directly by drafting him. League winner directly by drafting him. League winner by proxy, or by extension, other players will become league winners because of the ability to wait on your quarterback and get this man in the 11th QB spot. He's 11th QB taken. So league winners for different reasons, but all these guys, this is just my favorite. Like right now, these two are just absolute glory. Joe Burrow in round 7, 8, and AR5 in round 6, 7. It's absolutely magnificent. There really aren't two QBs that feel like more valuable than Joe Burrow and AR5 given their potential value. We got a 405 caller calling. What's your name, 405 caller, and where are you calling from?
Hello?
405 caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Calling from Montana.
Greedy Petey from Montana. Greedy Petey, what can I do for you?
I just wanted to ask Smitty what he thought about being that the Rams are kind of locked in on the drafts and stuff. I wanted to see what he thought the over-under might be this coming up year, and how I know he likes McVay and everything, and Kyron, so I just want to know how optimistic he is coming up on this next year.
Yeah, you're talking to me. You're live, by the way. You're talking to me. This isn't it's not my board hop.
Oh, my bad, Smitty.
No, that's cool.
And another thing, I wanted to apologize, man. I put in a comment where it came off. My autocorrect said Snotty instead of Smitty, and I know that that was offensive, man.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
that
matter.
Was my bad.
It's all right, Greedy. It's all right, Greedy. Okay, so my optimism for the Rams, very optimistic. I think, as I alluded to, the departures of Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris and other staff that left L.A. to come over to become the new Atlanta Rams, it doesn't concern me a whole lot. It definitely is a concern. You're messing with continuity. Like, things were working. You know what I mean? So, like, clearly it's not great. But McVay created all that. McVay is the father of all of that offspring. And like I gave you an example of Philly. yesterday and the day before when I talked about this, or I gave everybody an example, is that Sirianni he's not a father of Shane Steichen and Gannon, and so the coordinators leave after, right before this past season played out. Shane Steichen left, went to Indianapolis. He's now molding and sculpting Anthony Richardson. So Sirianni had to now replace Steichen, Gannon, and he couldn't. He didn't have a coaching tree like that. He is not a creator of magnificent coaching trees. Kyle Shanahan lost Miami Mike McDaniel to Miami. He lost DeMeco Ryans to Houston, and he just replicates it, replaces those. He's fine. He's the one that creates the offense. He's the one that creates the thinking in that coaching tree. The same thing with McVay. So I truly believe McVay and the Rams will be okay, but it's certainly not the most ideal scenario to lose pieces, multiple pieces, and they lost pretty much everything that went over to Atlanta. So, but I'm very optimistic. I think Kyron to the moon. There's a reason 2 Saturn men are Rams, bro. I don't know if you've seen the Saturn list. Yeah. I'll punch the button right now. But we have out of 8 Saturn men spots, and Saturn men are the highest of the high. We have 2 Rams.
The Saturn men.
One small step
Puka,
for man,
Kyron.
one giant leap for Saturn.
Puka, Kyron. So to have two Rams players in the Saturn men 8 is crazy. What else you got, Greedy?
Well, that was I guess also Pittsburgh. I mean, because you got Tomlin over there, and I'm
trash.
I'm not a Steelers fan at all. My brother's a Steelers fan, so we hate each other and our teams and all that. But I got to respect Tomlin, man. I mean, the 8-8 to a lot of people, they probably overlook it, but to me, some of them teams, some of them rosters, like, he was magic. And I'm just curious, this coming year, being that they're under fire and all that.
Hey, Greedy. I don't know if your ears are sensitive, but Perps just dropped a 50 gifted membership. I got to fire off the boss horn real quick. So if you're around a sleeping baby, if you're driving a vehicle, be careful. Be careful. The boss horn is going off right now. Hold on 1 second, okay? Hold on.
Alert. Super chat alert.
50 gifted memberships from Perps. Perps is a monster. Perps guaranteed you. You hit the thumb up button. Perps rewarded you. Guys, 83 of you in here, 82 thumbs up. Perps dropped 50 gifted memberships. Thank him. Drop him a thumbs up, a fire emoji, an eggplant emoji, whatever helps convey your gratitude to Perps for giving you a gifted membership if you've got a green name now and all the emoji access. So let me tell you about the Steelers, bro. Trash. Ron Navy will even tell you maybe he gets more optimistic as he thinks about it, or he just wants to get, and I don't blame him if he changes his tune. Nobody call him a wishy-washy person. He's a diehard Steeler fan, and he's probably going to try and make the best of it. But the bottom line is this, bro. You had a team that wasn't doing it anyway. You have a coach that doesn't seem to know how to, I don't know. I don't want to say, he's got winning seasons, never has a losing season. That's a fantastic stat. I get it. But his offense is vanilla. His offense is just bland. And he let Matt Canada just crap the bed all year long practically. And now he brings in Arthur Smith as the solution. Not saying Arthur Smith doesn't have some crazy, weird, you're taking a cough syrup that tastes bad and you plug your nose and swallow it, and it's going to end up being kind of okay for you, but it tastes like shit. That's kind of what Arthur Smith is as an OC. Could there be some good that comes out of stripping all of his decision-making duties? Don't give him a parking spot. Don't even give him an iPad, and just send him onto the field and say, coach the run game, you idiot. Could he somehow, some way be okay? Don't take him out. I'll tell you who to start. You just design the run plays or whatever. Is there a possibility? Yeah, there is. But I'm not betting on it. I'm letting somebody else bet on that. Why? Because I already didn't like the team. And Ron says I'm a hater on the Steelers anyway. I'm not. I love George Pickens was a moon man. I love Jalen Warren. But the bottom line is you won't know which running back's going to be the guy. He's going to rotate the hell out of him. He's probably have a 3-man rotation, not a 2-man rotation, and you almost can guarantee that Pickens is going to spiral out of control because he's a head case and diva, and he's about to get a coach that's not going to feed him. What do you think's going to happen to this man's mentals when Pickens goes through the entire year dealing with what Drake London and Kyle Pitts dealt with? So I'm out. I don't want a single Steeler. Maybe later on if their values tank so bad. And Pickett's not the guy. Not to mention Pickett plus even if I'm wrong on Pickett, he's certainly not the guy now because you've got Arthur Smith as the OC. So if he had a shot, that shot's gone. But I already didn't even like Pickett. So there's no quarterback in my mind. Horrible offensive coordinator in my mind that might do some okay things, and a coach that can't recognize the difference. I'm out. And you think the tight ends are going to do anything? Get out of here. Kyle Pitts was forgotten. Steelers down. And Ron even pretty much agrees. He'll agree with everything but that he thinks Pickett's legit, but he'll also say that Pickett probably will not amount to anything now that Arthur Smith's there. And that's unfortunate for Pickett for him because he believes in him, but he does recognize that it's probably not going to be a good thing for Pickett. So Pickett's going to probably fail no matter what anybody thought of him, but it's bad, bro. I'm telling you, Pickens is going to unravel by midseason. This is the closest thing to a Kadarius Toney that feels like the talent's 100% there. Toney had the talent, but it wasn't 100% there. His hands are horrible. He's a head case. One of the more gifted physically players in the league. Really, Kadarius Toney's twitch, his ability to accelerate. Look, Kadarius Toney was an absolute disaster. He's a washed out garbage player, and he'll never be good in the NFL ever again. Kadarius Toney, bye-bye. Pickens is a extremely different version of him because Pickens is one of the most talented players in the league at the wide receiver position. He's arguably a top 5 to 10 wide receiver talent physically, but now he's handed a really rough situation, and he's got some issues with authority. He's got issues with selflessness, and he's like Diggs is right now, where Diggs is not happy when his team wins. He just wants the ball. Pickens is going to unravel. I hate to say it. That's how I feel.
I love to hear it, man. Like I said, my brother.
He loves to hear it. He does. I love
to hear it, Smitty.
Your brother's going to hate me. He hates you, he'll hate me. But, look, yeah, I don't know. All right, hey, bro, appreciate you, Greedy.
Right.
Later, pal.
Thing, you could cut me off, but I just wanted to ask one last thing. Who you got in the Super Bowl?
Probably KC, just because it feels like the NFL wants it. The refs are going to want it. The media wants it. It's like, I don't know. If the Niners win this game, it'll be because of McCaffrey. They got to run McCaffrey. So banking on Shanahan knowing that, I don't know. We'll see. Chiefs got the momentum. Chiefs got the momentum, but that could get ripped out. I think it doesn't do anybody any favors that's rooting against the Niners to put the Niners in the underdog positioning, because that's what they love to be, is the underdog. That gives them no fear. They're going to come out with that boombox. That defense is going to come out hungry as hell, and they might step up and play like an elite defense for one game, and you never know. But Mahomes is on fire. You know, might come down to, can Kelsey be consistent for one more game? Is he in his head, or is he out of that? It seems like he broke out of that, getting in his own head. Dropping footballs, looking bad. I don't think Kelsey can put it together for another full season. I'm not saying I like him next year. I'm just saying, did Kelsey muster up this final, I don't think he's going to retire, I guess. Word was he could, but I heard recently that he's not. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Later. Let me go over to Marsman, Travis, Rowe, and then over to Sebastian after that. Marsman, Travis, what's up?
Hey, Smitty.
What up?
Yeah, with the Patriots, I think with all their coaches, it's kind of wait and see. The Van Pelt guy, the one plus is that he's a quarterback guy. So maybe that's the line of thinking there. Maybe he could be good with a young guy or whoever they get in there. I will say, though, they finally started talking about it on the radio here. I've been saying for months, and you've said it even, it's pretty clear the fan base here wants Fields in the draft Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, far and away above drafting a quarterback.
Yeah.
So
I do
find that kind of interesting.
Yeah, but how do you pull both of those off?
Because, reports are right now, Fields is only going to take a second or a third round pick. Which I think it could take a little more, but
that would be crazy. That would be crazy. So
I don't think it's going to take a first. Like, they could easily give up number 34, a third rounder, and a second next year.
If that's the case, yeah, you could be right. If that's the case, I bet you it's a conditional first, though, or something. Like it turns into or something.
I was going to say that, too.
Yeah, it's got to be something bigger than a second rounder, though. It has to be. It has to be conditional. Like it could be. But I think they would want now draft capital. So let's say it's a second this year and a second next year that can turn into a first if the team that gets Fields, makes the wins the division or like whatever the hell the stipulation will be. But that would be crazy if the New England Patriots trade for Justin Fields and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. The Patriots are going to the moon, bro. But the thing that's frustrating is that's all it takes. Like looking at some of these teams, why not do it? Why not do it? I don't understand why somebody doesn't just do it. Washington could take Marvin Harrison Jr. and trade a future first rounder if they've got to go get Fields. I'm not saying they need to, but let's say they want to. Let's say there's a little bit of competition. Just do it. Just go get Fields, draft Marvin Harrison Jr., and go win. Like, it's so stupid to me how these teams just treat first rounders and draft picks like it's gold. Like, just go get generational talents, surrender what you have to get players. It's stupidity to me. The whole notion of not getting Lamar. I don't care if Lamar didn't win the big game. He got to a Final Four. All these Lamar haters that have come back. Look, I'm not the biggest Lamar supporter from a fantasy perspective. I'm probably one person that tells you to continuously caution yourself. He's continuously disappointed on one level or another. This year he played pretty well, but the 3 previous years he disappointed in some way, shape, or another, getting injured or underperforming for half a year. I'm like a pretty critical Lamar Jackson ranker, but from a football perspective, I've been adamant. You're almost near imbecile territory if you don't think he's worth 2 first-round picks. First-round picks are, especially future first-round picks, are nothing. They're fugazi. They're fairy dust. They don't exist. Like, what are you doing? And Lamar could be on any of these teams that were searching for head coaches because they didn't do their job right. Because they didn't see Lamar Jackson for what he was. Atlanta Falcons are one of those organizations who said, Arthur Blank said, we are not interested in Lamar Jackson. Were you sure about that? Like, why would you not trade for Fields? You could take Neighbors with this 8 pick. You could go offensive line, whatever you want to do. Go get Fields for a couple second rounders. I'd give up 3 second rounders for Fields if he's not costing a first rounder. I could care less about him. I want the player, or in terms of a generational talent, give me Marvin Harrison Jr. over the first. Let's say you had the number 7 overall pick right now, and you knew the Patriots were taking Marvin Harrison Jr. You give up the 7, you give up a future first rounder, you get the generational talent. That's how I would operate. I'd either burn an organization to the ground. I at least admit I know that that's possible, or we win Super Bowl after Super Bowl.
Well, I'm actually happy to hear that from Patriots fans because they can be some serious dreamers. Like, I understand they've been as delusional as 49er fans at times, so I'm not lost in that. But it's nice to hear the majority of the fans saying, if in fact Fields is available, and Chicago and Washington are taking quarterbacks, you can take Marvin Harrison, take the guy that you think is a sure thing at 3. And then if he's really available for that, you shouldn't be beat out on a trade because you have the 34th pick. That's the second pick in the second round. So you can build a package around that for sure and not get beat out on it. Now, what the team's going to do, I have no idea. Like you said, never never underestimate what a team's going to do. But it was interesting to hear, and like you said, that could pertain to any team with a higher pick. You know,
Yeah.
Whether we like to admit it or not, these first-round quarterbacks, if you have 5 of them, 1 or 2 are going to hit, maybe at the most.
Yeah.
On average.
Landing spot's going to make that. I mean, I think you'd have at least 3 of them hit if the landing spots were guaranteed to be all ideal. But like Bryce Young showed us, you land in Carolina. No offense, Carolina fans, put your earmuffs on, but doesn't matter. If Stroud landed in Carolina, we would be wondering who Stroud is. We wouldn't know who Stroud is like we know now. We wouldn't know yet. We'd be like, who the hell is this guy going to be? We have no clue. We have no idea what Bryce Young's going to be. We know Stroud landed in an ideal spot. You know, good for Stroud, doesn't matter. You can't separate situation from player. Hoosiers dropping a $5 holler, says Bill wanting to bring in his own guys was the biggest roadblock. We heard that too. That was definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
But that goes back to Bill and Adam Peters, I believe, didn't want to have to butt heads with somebody that thought he knew more than him about football, about staff, about players, about who to draft, about quarterbacks. So this goes right in line with what I'm saying. I'm just putting a blanket, I'm putting all this in one bucket. Bill trying to control things, want my own guys, is why Adam Peters, I almost guarantee you, and I have no insider information on that, I'm just guessing because Adam Peters is a genius, that he's like, I don't want somebody in there trying to undermine everything. And in his mind, and maybe he's going to be wrong about Dan Quinn, but in his mind, with Dan Quinn now as head coach of the Washington Commanders, Adam Peters is the highest up of that tree of GM, coach, offensive coordinator on down. He's the highest up offensive mind. And that's the way he obviously wants it. He wants to know more about offense and player scouting than his head coach. Some could say that's not good, but the head coach in this situation isn't going to be in charge of the offense necessarily. It's going to be, what do they do at OC? And it is, like I said, a little weird and confusing and insulting and a whole bunch of different things that you interview your current assistant head coach and / offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. You interview him for head coach, but you're also going to replace him as OC. So it's like they did their due diligence to interview him, I think, out of respect or whatever, but they might keep him as assistant head coach and replace him as OC. And who do they bring in? Chip Kelly, some were saying. But as I said, Peters, Kelly, Quinn, Bieniemy, it's kind of a lot of minds at work. And maybe they all butt heads and it doesn't work, but I think it's something that people shouldn't be writing off entirely. Just like I said, your Patriots situation doesn't excite me as much as the Las Vegas situation, which people are crapping on too. And I like that. I like the fact that you got Mark. Yeah, I mean it's a combination of as Silver said, you're getting a bunch of solid minds together. Like it's crazy that anybody's even ripping on this. You've got Marvin Lewis, former a lot of head coaching experience. Whether you want to rip on that time, that is somebody that could help mold and sculpt Antonio Pierce. So Marvin Lewis is assistant head coach. And then you bring in a guy like Kingsbury, who you can crap on him all you want to, but he's had some success and his offenses can be very potent. You get this combination of Marvin Lewis, Kingsbury, and Antonio Pierce as one head coach, essentially. That's pretty powerful. So while I'm a little more excited about the Raiders situation, despite all the hate for it, I still think that people shouldn't draw a conclusion that your Patriot situation is awful. It's just a lot more unknown. So your 3 coordinators here, but Van Pelt's kind of intriguing, kind of, it's kind of a curious. Look, I mean, I think you could say a lot of positive things about what Van Pelt did in Cleveland. So,
yeah, I don't mind it on paper. It's just he's a little bit of an unknown.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just an unknown.
I was going to say that the last thing quick is, say the Patriots did do that, which is, I know it's a pipe dream until it happens, but if they did that, in terms of fantasy, they would now have Fields, Harrison Jr., Pop Douglas, and Ramondre, and that's not a bad core.
No, what you win? You could win
build that line out a little bit.
You could win a division with that team if you had Fields, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Stevenson, and you have, a developing defense, and you work on a couple other things. You got Pop Douglas, who's a nice second wide receiver. I don't think he's a number one, but he's a fantastic number two.
No.
I really think
Right.
that is a division-winning, capable team within 2 years, if not a Houston Texan immediate turnaround. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but that's the problem. It's so crazy to me. It's so crazy to me how people are so overreactive to some of this news. Like, I don't understand why Kingsbury gets such a bad rap, especially if you compartmentalize his duties into just OCing and have all this other control above him. And then I also don't understand, while we're on that topic, why teams don't go after freaking Fields for this. If the price tag truly is going to be a second, even if it's conditional second, second rounder that turns to first in the future, like 2025 or 2024, whatever, 2025, I mean. Joe Santos says, in a Kelsey chat podcast a few months ago, I said no one can catch and catch the ball with their girlfriend Swift watching, and I got attacked, but he's played better than ever since. You got attacked. I don't know why. I don't know if you got attacked. I don't know that we attacked anything like that. But anyway, thank you for the comment, though. Hoosiers, appreciate your super chat, the $5 hauler. Thank you, pal. And are you sure about that, Young? Young, appreciate you. Let me go over to Sebastian real quick. Sebastian, you're live.
Yeah, right now it's January, so obviously a lot of things can change. But here are my thoughts on Anthony Richardson. I do think he can be a top 5 quarterback.
Sure can.
But honestly, I don't think I want to draft him in round 6, round 7 ADP wise. Because I mean, I was looking at the board. I saw people like Hawkinson, McBride, like they were way lower than they should have been. And the way I was thinking about approaching it is like JD5. What if I picked him where AR5 was at last year, and then take a Jordan Love? I'm throwing 2 darts for a way lower cost of entry. Versus,
before I hang up on you for this take, Sebastian? I hit the button, but I didn't hang up on you. You're really complaining about AR5 in the 6th round? Are you really trying to talk about that as being a bad value? That you'd rather go spend your money elsewhere? Like, come on, bro.
I mean, Hawkinson finished as what, tight end 2-3 this year? Or McBride 2, he was on his way up there.
What, you talking about AR5? What are you talking about Hawkinson? And what are you talking about?
I'm talking about like the ADPs, like relative to like.
Who cares about any other ADP? Where do you think AR5 will be? He's a 6th rounder. He wins you a league. Like if he's the guy I say he's gonna be, if I'm wrong on that, then he won't. But like it's almost like you're, and Sebastian, it's okay. I'm not mad at you or anything. So I didn't hang up on you. But you're talking about a player that has maybe the potential to be the QB1 in fantasy for a string of the season that maybe lingers around 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever. Sure, maybe he doesn't. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But guess what? I'm not even going to lose a league off 6th round. If we're talking like 4th round, then you might have an argument. But you're like, it almost feels like you're continuing to bargain shop when you're already sitting there at a bargain. You know what I mean? It's like going to a garage sale and seeing a brand new item that should be going for $500 and someone's trying to sell it for $100, and you're like, I'm going to go to the next garage sale and see if I can find this brand new $500 item for $50 instead of $100. You know, that's kind of the way it feels to me. But that's just me.
So what do you think about JD5 then?
I love JD5. He's on the Saturn Man list, but so is AR5. But like that doesn't mean JD5 he's an unknown right now. You don't even know where he's going to be. You don't know who he's throwing to. I'm not saying we're not a show that predicts and puts our balls where on the table and puts our money where our mouth is, and scared money don't make money. I mean, of course we're loving JD5, but you can't say round 6 what are you going to do? Take Jaden? I love Jaden Reed, but what you're telling me? Okay, now you're winning your league because you passed on AR5, and you got another stab in the dark, and you got Jaden Reed. Like, give me Jaden Reed all day, but I'm not worried about losing a wide receiver or running back around that territory for AR5, who's smashing the hell out of everybody. Joe Burrow, I love Joe Burrow too. Joe Burrow run. Like, if you came in and say, I'd rather have Joe Burrow in round 8 than AR5 at round 6, and that was all you said, I would say, yeah, I get it. But, like, to be worried about the value of AR5 and 6 as if it's some overpay, I think you need to look at some film on this guy, bro, because he could score 3, 4, or 5 touchdowns a game. Like,
I'd rather have Love where he was going and take JD5.
I don't hate the take. I just I don't like insinuating that AR5 is not an amazing value at 6 in round 6 though. But I'm okay with what you're doing. It's fine. It's fine. 100,000 ways to win.
The main thing I worry about is injury. That's literally the only thing I worry about.
Yeah, but you know, Josh Allen runs the ball. JD5 runs the ball. Joe Burrow got hurt. You know, quarterbacks get hurt all the time. We have more injuries at quarterback this year than we've seen in a long time. But hey, I don't hate the idea of, let's say you're in round 6 and the right player falls to you and they are 5 sitting there and you go, I'm going to try the Jordan Love or Joe Burrow, round freaking 7 or 8. I don't mind it. But this man AR5 is, we got to protect him at all costs, to the moon, to Saturn. All right. Hey, Sebastian, what else you got?
Do you see JD5 become the commander?
I think it's a real strong possibility. I think that you have a lot of people trying to predict things really early on because of a Senior Bowl and things like that. But, like, we got workouts that are going to determine all this. Keep in mind how late it was decided about Stroud in Houston taking him and Young deciding on or Carolina deciding on choosing Young. It came down to the combine. It came down to pro days. Sometimes the individual that has the last pro day leaves like a bad taste or a good taste in a lot of teams' mouths, and they end up like 11th hour climbing a guy up the ranking board. So it's just guesswork right now. I mean, of course, I think that he's the best quarterback because I've said it over and over. I think he's the best quarterback. I like him better than Caleb. I like him better than Drake May. I think JD5 is a Lamar Jackson in the making, and maybe could even be better. I think Washington would be fantastic for him. I think New England, if they supported him, could be good. I like him there better without Bill because I think Bill would screw it up. I think JD5 in Atlanta would be fantastic. It'll probably go quarterback with these top 3 picks. It'll be Caleb, Drake May, and probably JD5. Or it'll be Caleb, JD5, Drake May. It probably, as of right now, if I had to predict, it'll be that 3. Just the second and third overall picks. We're not sure which one's going where.
Yeah, all I got. But yeah, the quarterback's definitely going to be a very interesting position.
Yeah, JD5 to the moon. I I love him. All right, later, bro. I didn't hate his take. It seemed like he was calling AR5 a liability in the 6th round is why I guess I reacted that way. But I don't hate doing what I said at the beginning of the show, 1,000 ways to win. You don't have to draft anybody. Just defending our boy.
I'm not personally high on him.
Yeah,
I'm not personally that high on him either.
It's fine. Malik Neighbors to the Titans. Yeah. He easily could go there. Malik Neighbors could go to the Chargers, at 5. Because if Arizona takes Marvin Harrison Jr., which they better, if they don't, I'm going to be sick to my stomach. I'm trying to prepare like it's not going to happen. But if the Cardinals take Marvin Harrison Jr., I almost like Marvin Harrison. I don't know where I like Marvin Harrison most, to be honest. The Chargers was the place I wanted him most, but I do think Harbaugh brings a certain pace to his offense that I don't necessarily think makes Marvin better or worse in LA versus Arizona. I think Kyler will pepper him. I think it will be good. I don't want Marvin in New England if you can't get a quarterback like Fields. If you're resorting to some, carousel of quarterbacks, then Marvin Harrison's going to fall flat. I don't want him in Washington unless they get Fields or, maybe, Russell Wilson or something like that. Like, that could be different. the best spot is Arizona because Kyler's there and they'd build around the two of them. So at least you'd know you've got like protection in terms of quarterback, wide receiver rapport for years. Chargers, same thing. Neighbors could go 5, or he could go 7. I don't like it though. I don't want Neighbors there. I'm not huge on Levis. I'm just not. I think Neighbors
check it a little bit. I don't know how much he'll develop.
I mean, look at Burks. I just, we don't even know how good Burks. I didn't even like Burks all that much once he hit the NFL. I did like him as a prospect. I remember scouting him at higher than I liked him once he hit the NFL. As soon as he was drafted, I was like, no. And there's a lot of negativity around him. Wasn't it asthma or something? He kept him off the field or whatever. I don't know. I forget what it was. Asthma or was it migraines, asthma, something like that? I don't know. He couldn't stay on the field, and it's like, how are you going to develop? You're going to fall behind, and he did. And now he doesn't have a good situation. I don't like Tennessee. I don't want it. If Neighbors goes to Tennessee, you might have me saying Odunze is better than him in fantasy. Because if
I think they take a lineman.
I wouldn't be shocked if there's a lot of interesting scenarios. Let's say Las Vegas traded for Fields using second rounders, future, whatever. Second rounder this year, future second rounder, whatever the cost was. Let's just even say future first rounder, whatever the conditional, whatever. They get Fields in, and then they try and move this pick up, or they get lucky and draft a Dunze with the 13 pick. If Las Vegas gets a Dunze or Neighbors, that's fantastic with Fields. That would be amazing. That would be Kingsbury, heaven.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy. All right. Anything else? Travis, I'm probably going to jump. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I know, like you said, workouts, it's still so early. If Caleb Williams doesn't have a great workout, could you see him falling out of the top 3?
I think anything, not top 3, no.
Absolutely
not.
You think he's locked in up there?
Absolutely not. But could I see him falling out of 1? Yeah. And if anybody thinks that's improbable, sure, that's a fair statement. But impossible, no. Because we've seen it before. Everybody acts like these things don't happen in the 11th hour. Cam Newton, we've gone over this before. 100% he could fall to 2. But he's locked in the top 2. Unless he suffers a season-ending injury in workouts or something. Then he'd still go high. But all right, Travis, appreciate you, bro. I'll be back tonight to probably I'll be doing a Rumble show for sure, but we might come back. Since we already did the Dynasty show today, I might do another one, but we already did the Dynasty show today. Go watch it. We did some mock drafting. But I'm going to 100% be back for Rumble later, and I might be back. I'm going to very much try to be back to do some drafting on Underdog on this main channel here. So, guys, hit that link that's pinned in the live chat. Please hit that link. It's in the description of the video as well. Code Smitty also gets it done. If you want to draft with us tonight, then you want to go on over to that link that's pinned in the live chat that's in the description. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Justin became a member right now at random. He just joined the YouTube exclusive membership. Justin, appreciate you doing that. Perps gifting 50 memberships earlier. Real quickly, boys, I got Bruce and Jay Farr on. Let me go to the Bruce real quick. Bruce, you got about 30 to 40 seconds because I'm jumping off. What can I do for you, pal?
Hey, everyone's talking about Fields going somewhere. What does that do for Mac Jones? Did Bill ruin his career?
Who's Mac Jones?
Mac Jones is the quarterback of the Patriots.
No, he's not. Who is that? That's some guy we don't even remember who he is, Bruce. He's not. Mac Jones is nothing. Maybe I'm being harsh there, but I didn't think Mac Jones was a starting caliber quarterback from the jump. I certainly don't think he has any relevance. Who the hell knows, though? Do I think Bill is capable of ruining him? Sure.
Did he ruin him?
Bill the Tickler says, is Rumble a pay channel? No. It's not. It has, YouTube exclusive, or has Rumble exclusive memberships and super chats and stuff like that, but no. Here's the link to the Rumble channel. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be on Rumble later. The Underdog Fantasy link is pinned in the live chat. The Rumble link for tonight's Rumble show, which is a Rumble exclusive show whenever we do it. It's not a repeat of YouTube. It's its own show. Hit that link. I just dropped the Rumble link. Sorry, Bruce, to say negative things about Mac if you like him, but I just don't think he's good.
Oh, no, it's my cousin's friend. He knows him.
Yeah, well, maybe he's a good guy.
All right.
All right, I'm sorry, Travis's Mac didn't get a chance. I know Travis likes him, and maybe I'd be wrong. Maybe I'd be wrong on a different team, different situation. But regardless, I don't think Mac will rebound from it. Okay. Anything else, Bruce? How you doing? How you holding up, Bruce?
I'm holding up all right. No. Oh, one more. Can I? Would it be dumb if you took Burrow or McBride early just to ensure that you got the other one?
What do you mean? How early? Because McBride's going in the 80s right now. He's a steal, so you don't want to take him too early. You want to take advantage of that.
They said that. Yeah, I want to take it, but I want to make sure I can get both, if that makes sense. Do I take Burrow right around AR's spot and just say, okay, well, I'm gonna take a chance on Burrow and go early?
Because you could get Burrow at least another round beyond where AR5 is. You never want to grab someone 2 or 3 rounds ahead of their ADP ever. Not to mention, you should be doing most likely enough leagues that you can let go of that. I gotta get him, because the best thing about Underdog Fantasy, again, promo code Smitty, link in the live chat, link in the description of the video. Code Smitty also does the same thing. It doubles your first deposit up to $100. The links just put the code in for you if you're lazy. But the thing about Underdog is when you do 150, 200, even if it's just 50, 50 Underdog drafts, $3 a piece, $5 a piece. Let's say you're doing even 25. I do hundreds of thousands of them probably. And when you do enough of those drafts, you get disciplined. It teaches you discipline, because I no longer, especially this year, even versus last year, I'm noticing in my draft style, and I'll do a best ball video on this. I noticed such a big difference in my draft style this year so far, is I'm disciplined as hell. I don't care that Joe Burrow is sitting there in the 7th round, and in this league I'm sitting there around 6, and I need to just grab him early. I don't care. I'm doing hundreds of them. I'm going to land him in the 7th round enough. I'm going to take the best player based on their ADP and all that factored in every time on the clock. The more drafts you do, the more disciplined you can become. It's really weird, but it's because you no longer feel the pressure. If you just did one draft, you remember when you had one league back in the day? Everybody here at one point had one league. That's it. There's no best ball. There's no dynasty. You had one league. The pressure of that, it was fun, but you would reach on everybody because you would be scared. You wouldn't have Breece Hall. You'd have to have Breece Hall. Now you can be disciplined by applying a whole bunch of, drafts to your repertoire. So now you don't have to do that kind of stuff. It's crazy what it does. It's a fantastic way to get better at drafting, is to do more drafts, especially when they're best ball and you don't have to ever set a lineup. They're one and done. I will never remember the 10, 15 drafts I just completed on my. I do a lot of 8-hour timer drafts. I just completed 8 of them today from days ago, and I won't remember what those teams look like. But at the end of the year, my discipline will pay off, just like it did this year. I got a lot of solid return on my best ball play this year. Not only was I in the mix for 2 big prizes, and I was in the finals in several, but I was literally floating around the top 10 in the big board, and the early big board, the pre-2023 one, the earlier one. And then I was also in the Superflex one. The Superflex, what's it called? I finished. I think in one of them I ended up finishing and getting 1,000 in that. But I was in the mix for the 20 grand the whole time. It was back and forth. It was And so I didn't even win like a big tournament, but winning a big tournament's hard. There's 100, 200,000 people in it. Like to get into the top 20, top 10, top 15, top 30, even top 100 is fantastic. And even without winning a tournament, I still, like, if you look down my winnings, it'll be like $40, $20, $100, $50, $75, $64, $100 in each one of the little tournaments and everything that they unfold. They do the Mitten 1, the Mitten 2, and the Mitten 3. Like, you look down the entire thing, the Big Board 1, the Big Board 2, the Big Board 3. Like, you have all these different tournaments that they release, and it's like 100, 200, 500, 300, 200, 500. Like, it's so fun to do these drafts and not worry about them ever again. And then you just, when the season, you can't even look at them all during the year either when you do that many. You're basically just waiting for the first round of the fantasy football playoffs to go through, and then you see which ones advance. Then they start narrowing down, and then you get a chance to really go in and look at each one that's like advancing. And then when you get to the finals, even if you did like 200, 300, it's not uncommon to have only like 20 or 30 or 40 of them in the finals. And then it's not uncommon to have just 2, 3, or 4 of them like in the mix because there's still hundreds and hundreds of people in it. All right, hey, I gotta go, Brucey. Appreciate you, bro. We'll see you tonight.
All right, thank you.
Later. J Far, you got just like a minute because I gotta go.
How you doing, Smitty?
What's up, pal?
Good. I'm shocked you don't like Ayuk, but that's not what I wanted.
But you're putting words in my mouth. I don't not like Ayuk. I never said I don't like Ayuk. I don't love him in the second round, bro. Like how is that hating him?
No, it's not hating, but you know what I mean. He was a low end wide receiver 1 this year. Every year he's improved. Top offense. Yeah. I don't see how he regresses by that much next year.
I don't hate it. I don't like the look of my team when Ayuk's in that 2.10, 2.11, the bookend picks. I think it would be hard enough to draft him as my third drafted player. I could do it. I'm not saying I hate that. It just depends on the build. But I certainly don't love him in my second drafted player slot. I just don't feel like it. There's a lot of players there that I like a little bit more. Curious to know what the chat thinks. Maybe people will agree with you. Does everybody think Ayuk is worthy of a second rounder? Put it in the chat.
Well, it was also Dynasty, so
Yeah. So Dynasty second round, Brandon Ayuk. Let me know. Even more so of why he wouldn't be just because he got all these other rookies now that get also thrown in that wouldn't be in a redraft. I don't know. I'm just not. I'm not sure I love him in the second.
I'm not. You know what I mean. I just like the friendly argument, but I also think that you're putting average too high with only 3 games that he's played.
Sixth round.
Jordan Love better.
6th round.
Still too early, but I also look at it through a super flex perspective. Because let's say if he does miss, costing you the league right there.
No, it doesn't. AR5 failing in that 6th to 7th round, mind you, territory where he's falling.
That's in a 1 QB league. In super
I know.
Flex, he's probably your first QB taken.
Oh, you're saying if he gets injured in a super flex, it costs you the league. If anybody gets injured in your top, 10, 15, you could potentially lose the league. That's not an argument.
But he's only played 3 games.
So. So he also was on pace in those games to be a top 5 quarterback, to be like it was like QB3 to whatever you look at depending on what game you include when he got hurt. But it does, like, he already had earned that value. Like, once he got injured, everybody was accepting of him being a top 5 value quarterback. You tried to trade for him in a league, you couldn't trade for him unless you were giving up a second round wide receiver talent. So you can, like I said, scared money's not going to make money. Doesn't mean you can't make money with other approaches. I'm just saying at the end of the day, you're going to run away from 6th to 7th round value in 1 QB, or taking this man at the end of the first round as your QB1 in a super flex. I'm not running from that. I'm running toward it. And to each his own. To each his own. Some people are scared of the unknown. Some people were scared of Breece Hall coming off an ACL tear. I'll wait until next year. I'll let him play this year. when the evidence was right in front of your face that it was not the same thing, a replication of Barkley, first year back, not ready, didn't do well. J.K. Dobbins, first year back, not ready, didn't do well. Breece Hall was ready. His preparedness, his youth, his situation, and he was the number 3 overall running back in fantasy football with a slow start.
Breece Hall, I 100%
I know, but you 100% agree of Breece Hall, but it's the same context. You could be scared about it, or if you feel it, you feel it. If you don't feel what you're trying to argue with me isn't about anything other than you don't believe in AR5. That's the R. It doesn't matter whether ADPs are or anything. If you believed in AR5, you would not feel like he was a risk and a super flex at the tail end of the first round.
Correct, because he's
so you don't believe in him.
3 games.
But you don't believe in him. That's fine. But you don't like AR5. You can't say, well, I like him, but I just want to wait and see. No, you can't choose both. You either believe in him or you don't.
I like him as a top 10 quarterback, not a top 5 quarterback.
Okay, well, you're not going to get him. You're going to watch everybody else draft him, and that's fine if you don't like him. It's to each his own. We're not all going to be right about these things. We're not all going to be everything's going to play out soon, and maybe he gets injured again. But Shane Steichen molded and sculpted Jalen Hurts into a top 2 quarterback. He's doing the same thing with this guy AR5, and he's only going to increase in weapons around him. JT will be back healthy, ready to go. Who knows if they bring in like a Mike Evans or they do so. Imagine Mike Evans in that offense catching a football.
If Mike Evans then there's no discussion here.
Okay, but these are all things that are in potential motion. They're going to be. Mike Evans is a free agent. Pittman he could be franchise tagged. They keep him anyway. They could bring in Higgins if he's not franchise tagged. There's Hollywood Brown down here at the bottom. There's a lot of reasons Shane Steichen's going to want to bring in a receiver. What if they move up in the draft and take Neighbors? What if they move up in the draft and take Brock Bowers? Like they're not just going to sit on their hands. They're going to surround this man with talent, and we're going to take Bijan cards away and AR5 cards away before anybody has a chance to get back on the train.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
There's like players I like more than in Jordan.
You've made that clear, and I respect it. But you don't like AR5. That's what this discussion is. It's nothing to do about his ADP. You don't believe in him. Because if you don't believe in him in the 6th, 7th round, you don't believe in him. This is not about ADP. This is about you predicting AR5 is not going to succeed. Because if you think he's going to succeed, 6th, 7th round is not scaring you. And you're certainly not losing a league in 1 QB if AR5 disappoints, because he'll absolutely.
No, I hear your point. Your point. I just like Jordan Love better. I like Herbert better. I like Burrow better.
I don't mind
I like
take
Stroud better.
Look, Stroud and AR5. Stroud's going higher than AR5 though. But of the quarterbacks you name that are going after AR5, Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, I don't hate the take that you like those guys. We like them too. I think there's a lot of AR5 doubt. It excites me. I love you. Look, JFR, you're doing me a service. You're doing all of us a service. By doubting AR5, you're keeping them around 6, 7.
We appreciate it with me. But like,
we appreciate
you're telling me Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, give me A-Rich over those guys. So there's some players I like better, some players I don't.
All right. Appreciate you, JFR. We appreciate your service.
Thanks.
Thank you. No, the thanks is all on this side of the table. Thanks for helping us. The thanks is all on this side of the table. You are helping us get AR5 in round 6 and 7. And for that, we are grateful.
Enjoy.
We'll see you.
Enjoy. Hopefully it works out. Enjoy.
It will. Thank you. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you all later. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Link is in the description. Link's in the live chat pinned. Code Smitty also gets it done for you. Those links will insert Code Smitty for you. We'll be drafting later tonight, most likely. We'll definitely be on Rumble. Rumble.com/The Fantasy Football Show. That link is, let me drop that Rumble link right here. Please subscribe to Rumble. Or follow me on Rumble, as they say. Follow me on Rumble. We're starting something from the ground up there. The first 44 people that were there, they were consistently there. We always have like 40 to 44 people in there. We call them the 44 because these people were with me from the start. When we go live on Rumble, we have about 40 to 50, 60 people in the live stream. It's starting from the ground up. We got less than 400, just under 400 followers on Rumble, and so it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting, it's climbing, it's rising up, it's humble, it's humbling, to be honest with you. We are small on Rumble, but it brings back the old feelings of when we started this channel, and it was tiny, and we had like 7 to 10 people. Silver Rapture was here for that. 7 to 10 people in the live stream as we were growing this thing, and we're gonna be at 10K subscribers or followers on Rumble by the end of the year. I can feel it. Go watch the Dynasty channel. The Dynasty video's up. The fresh new Dynasty video's up. YouTube.com/Dynasty Fantasy Football. All those links to this channel, to the Dynasty channel, to the Rumble channel. That's all in the description of this video and every video. See you all tonight on Rumble, especially the 44. And probably on the main channel right here, the one you're watching, for live drafts on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty. Link is pinned in the live chat. Links in the description. Sign up now. They'll double your first deposit. Sign up now so you don't miss out on getting in a draft with us live. Appreciate every single one of you. AR5 to the freaking moon.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
Thank you, Perps, for dropping not 5, not 10, not 15, not 20, but 50. 50 gifted memberships. Perps is an absolute maniac. And on top of that, Perps decides to say bye with a $20 Boss Horn hauler. Hey, Smitty, can I get an extra long Boss Horn press with a new pair of sunglasses? Over 100 thumbs up. Let's go, Perps. Appreciate the 100 thumbs up. Let's see, what glasses should we put on here? Let's put on these. All right, fire up the by the way, if we ever have to fire the Boss Horn past 8 p.m. past 11 p.m. Eastern, Miss Smitty requires that it be $100 haulers, and I have to chug a glass of water for every single $100 hauler, Boss Horn hauler. We have to change the Boss Horn to a more expensive super chat at a certain point, or because it wakes the family up when I do it. So Miss Smitty agreed that if I upgrade her iPhone, give her Beats by Dre headphones, a brand new pair. That way, if she needs them, she can put them on and not hear anything. But she says that the Boss Horn can be fired off if we exceed if we have a $100 or higher super chat. So just to let you know that before 11 p.m. Eastern, they're always $20. Once we get into that territory of 11 p.m. Eastern, not only do I have to chug a glass of water per $100 hauler, I have to fire the Boss Horn off, chug a glass of water while Miss Smitty gets woken up and everybody's upset at me. $20 hauler, let's go. Let's go, Perps.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Appreciate you all. I'll see you all on Rumble tonight, on the main channel here, drafting potentially tonight. Deuces. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Hi, my name is B. John Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring.
8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. This was the 8 p.m. show. Again, live whenever big news breaks and live during the graveyard shifts like we probably will be tonight doing drafts. So hit that link in the description. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. They'll double your first deposit, and we'll be live on Rumble in just a little bit. Appreciate you all. It'd probably be at least an hour or two. Hour and a half, maybe. Hour to hour and a half before we're on Rumble. Justin Mooney with a $20. Oh, man. Justin says, not so fast, Smitty.
Alert.
Not so fast.
Super chat alert.
Justin says, not so fast, Smitty. You're not getting away that quick. Fire up the boss horn. It may not be 11 p.m. Eastern. We're about 50 minutes away, but he wanted it fired off anyway. Justin to the moon. All right, prepare for take one. All right, action.
He's a box score, Bobby. He's a little sloppy. Box score, Bobby. He's a box score, Bobby. He's so sloppy. Bobby.